Are there any questions of anything going on? We're gonna try to plant seeds in milk jugs and put them outside today. Plant seeds in the milk jugs or plant them using the milk jugs as a hot cap. We've done that where you take a milk jug, the square type, clear or milky, opaque milk jugs, cut the bottom out, and then you can put it over the top of a plant and you can unscrew the top if it's a warm day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle Luke's definitely provides fix for us bird lovers, and it does take a lot of willpower. Janine was just saying, went to Uncle Luke's to get more bird seed and took all my willpower not to buy another feeder.
Somebody else just told me about how many birds they're feeding. Who was I talking to yesterday? Oh, Diana says that she said, well, I went out to fill a bird feeder and thought, I have another one in the garage. I'm going to put it over here and I'm going to put that over there.
Oh.
And she said, and they've emptied them in like a day. I said, oh no, get used to it.
Once you commit to it, they will.
Michelle, that'd be fine. Michelle is asking was it okay to put the free for all Fridays on Facebook? Yes, it is. We're willing to, that's what we're doing with free for all Fridays, is we thought, let's take this question and answer session in our garden, what's going on right now, and put it onto a day when we can, an evening when we can open it up to anybody who wants to get on, because we answer questions that come into us by email and text all the time. And those question and answers only go out to one person. And it seems like that's a shame, especially when, in your case, Michelle, you told me that you'd been talking with your sister and wondering about how come it's all right to put mulch right up against perennials and even over the top of perennials, but not against the trunk of a tree. So that's a great question. And that's a good thing that we should write up. So we wrote a newsletter, which was something of a mistake because I'd forgotten how long it takes to do a newsletter. Just putting pieces together. Actually, well, anyway, so we can send it out in a newsletter, but it would be nice to put it in a format where everybody can be there. And we'll try to record them and edit them and put them online on our YouTube open to everybody channel.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm not gonna promise, and we're gonna see how it goes because we don't know how many people might show up. We think we can probably handle it. So yeah, let the word out and we'll give it a shot and see what happens. That's the free for all Fridays that we're talking about. Because this portion is one of our favorite portions, and we've been told by a fair number of people that you don't finish what you're planning on doing, so move the In Our Gardens out. I have to tell you that it wouldn't matter if we left ourselves 2 hours or 3 hours.
We wouldn't finish anyway.
Nope. Yeah. Nope. Because it's for almost all of these webinars, it's the first time that we do what we're doing, the first time that we put that material together. We haven't practiced it for many times to know how long it actually takes. We can guess by the number of pictures that we have how it's going to go and what the pace should be. But we're always trying to put too much into an hour. We're trying to put too much into 2 hours.
And we've done that our whole career. I mean, every talk it's rare that we have not had somebody stand up in front of audiences and give us the 5-minute warning, that we have to wrap up. So we love talking to people, and it's fun.
Carol is saying that her Zoom screen has changed to her save chat option, move to the top of the screen. It's like, oh yeah, I guess it does. There's 3 dots up here at the top.
Oh,
it's something different. Michelle says that the Michigan beekeepers loved our sessions at the conference. Michelle asked me to talk to the beekeepers about pollinator gardens, and I thought, what can I talk to beekeepers about? Pollinator gardens. I mean, they are the pollinator garden people. But so we told them about pollinator gardens. Have we done that for this group? Anyway,
I think we did.
We've talked about a lot.
At least we had
and
we had Paul on.
That's right. Yeah, right. So we did talk about that.
Speaking of pollinators, I'm not sure if you saw Jean's message about how she's lined up her bird buddy so that when it takes pictures, it's also looking at the other feeders so that she can kind of see the whole feeders along. That's very clever.
Yeah, that's what I did. So I could get the hummingbird at the same time I was getting the other. You got to have it just right. And if the squirrels don't get on it, they get on it, they knock it all over.
Okay, what were you saying, Sonia?
And then, and then Nancy has a hand up.
Oh, okay, Nancy, go.
Morning. So I'm going to ask the question that probably everybody has on their mind. I completely cleaned out whole flower beds of all the winter brown and stuff, and then we got all the snow. Do I have to be worried about anything that was already popping up perennial wise?
No, no. And in fact, someone had asked about that a couple weeks ago. Is it going to get cold again? Will the plants be all right? And the ground is so warm that there's constantly warmth radiating out of the ground. That's why the snow all melted off our driveway yesterday so quickly. But I said it'll snow, and then we've got a blanket on the ground, so there's insulation. Everything is fine underneath this. If it gets, was it 17 or something the other night? If it got that cold and there was no cover on the ground at all, you might see that some things are wrong. But some of the daffodils that came with our house that I haven't replanted yet, the ones that were planted quite shallow, were up 8 inches already and had flower buds on them. They're laying on the ground. They're just
The
flat down
daffodils.
underneath, and it's actually saving them. You would think, oh, they're gonna die now. They'll pop back up. The fact that they're laying on the ground means they're gonna stay even warmer.
They stay warm by
So as long as
the
we don't,
ground's warm.
as long as we don't walk on them. No, you're okay. I've cleaned out a couple of gardens too. It was too nice not to go out and do it.
And maybe a leaf might get scorched or frozen if it gets really cold, but it's not going to hurt the plant overall.
No.
Now the magnolias that are getting ready to bloom, if it gets super cold, they're going to pay for it.
I was in Columbus last week and the magnolias were all in full bloom and had been in full bloom for 4 days.
That far ahead of us.
Yeah, I was actually able to stand in front of the group and say, I like being with people who understand the joy of saying the magnolias have bloomed for more than a day this year. They were beautiful. I should have put a picture of those in there. Went down with my friend Na, and we found some wonderful gardens in Columbus that Steve and I missed when we went down there for what did they call that? A Mariflora?
We went for a Mariflora. We went for to Perennial Plant Association with Stephen Still for something.
And somehow we never went into the historical district where they didn't put that. Next week I will put in some pictures for you. They're a wonderful topiary garden. And
we are going to go there.
And it was a glorious day. So today is normal, but we need to talk about stuff that will brighten it up. For instance, books. I'm always looking for books that have a little bit of something to do with gardening and being outside, but are not garden books, because I'm reading garden books and botany books and all the time. And I've been working my way through one called Biomimicry, which I'm not going to recommend to everybody because it really is way too technical, but it's about taking things from nature and using them to advance technology. How is a whale's skin put together? Let's take that and use it to make super textiles and coatings for things. But Janet told me yesterday, another Janet, that she's reading John Muir's Our National Parks, which is a classic I've only read excerpts from it, and it is wonderful. Here's this man who walked the whole country. I mean, walked the whole country. If you've ever looked up John Muir and do an image, they'll show you maps of his walking. He walked from the Appalachians down into Florida and over to New Orleans. He walked from across California through the mountains and what's the park with the half dome?
Yosemite.
Back out through Death Valley. I mean, he walked everywhere and he made notes on things. Some of them very, you wonder how somebody in the 1800s was doing this, but he noticed, like Steve noticed, that we were driving through Joshua Tree National Forest, and that the Joshua Tree plants only occur at a certain altitude. And when you get below that altitude,
and they're literally almost as a line when you drive through the Joshua.
Suddenly they're not
there.
But anyway, lots of things like that. So if anybody's got books like that, that'd be entertaining, because for the next few days, it's still going to be cold. And then we'll have one of those wonderful days when all the birds shake themselves off and say, wow, now this is the way it should be.
It is. It was hard this morning to get up and feed the dogs in the dawn in the snow and hear the birds singing. And I know I'm projecting, but it seemed like a sadder song or a more desperate song.
More desperate song, yes.
Yeah. Pardon me. Before we get going, just really quickly, Stacy's asking, does anyone have a good method on how to add a drain hole to a ceramic flower pot? She sees so many pretty containers, but they're all lacking drain holes. And Nancy says that she believes Telly's will actually drill holes in any of their pots. That if you find a pot at Telly's that doesn't have a hole, that they'll drill it for you. But just, do you have any quick recommendations for how to add the necessary?
As somebody who was going to be a ceramics teacher and did a lot of ceramics, I would tell you that it's chancy to do that, but it's the same as drilling through glass, really. And where did we
You need a sharp.
we went to a little store in Royal Oak to get those holes drilled in those great big vodka bottles that we turned into lamp shades to put the cord through. But you do need a special drill that is water cooled, because it heats up and it goes through by heat. If anybody knows, let us know. Maybe we'll look and see. I usually use pots that don't have a hole in them as a catch pot, so I plant the plant inside them in something else.
A little plastic container or something and elevate it so the water drips out.
And I'm not sure if I ever drew a picture of this and put a diagram of this and put it on the website. I think I might have. But I had a client who had beautiful pots for her plants inside. And so we made a dip place where she could, so we went ahead and planted in that pot, but when we filled it with potting mix, I put a little narrow PVC tube in that went all the way to the bottom of the pot, where we put a bit of gravel at the very bottom. And then I gave her a stick with a cotton swab on the end of it and said, just put that down the tube, and if it's wet down there, don't water the plant. Because you can manage on the plant without a pot without holes in it, but you need to know how much water is accumulating at the bottom. I'll look and see whether that diagram got put in. We should.
All right. Yeah, we are at 8:32, but just very quickly, burning bush that got cut back before this cold is going to be fine, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, just
yeah. Good. That's what I answered in chat. Cool.
Yep. So there is a. I want to put that in again, Steve. Right there. Just paste it in. So we've got a note-taking guide that refers you back to the note-taking guide that has details of the things we're not going to say today, or I'm not going to cover in detail if we need. We do want to give a shout out to Therese, who put 21 chrysalises on sticks. She said that the caterpillars had attached themselves to leaves that were falling off of the branch that she gave them. So with dental floss, and this is not easy.
No.
Somebody will tell you this is a very delicate microsurgery to tie these
Some
things
people
on.
would say it's a little insane.
Yeah, 21. She's in the Florida Keys, so these are not pupating at home here. This is a right now picture, right now before the snow fell.
Before
on
the
it,
snow,
right?
yeah.
And those are just fine underneath the snow, absolutely fine. Those were Zebra iris and a penstemon, foxglove penstemon. This is curly chives, allium senescens with their wonderful little rotating leaf.